Well, hey there, my friend. Welcome back into the studio today. Today I want to talk about planning your workout, the approach, how to set yourself up for success. Just in this short video, I'm going to take you through my steps of creating a commission piece. And this is just the beginning steps. It does not include the big commission at the end, but just talks about the very, very beginning. I think it's important that we plan ahead in our work. I think it's really validates a composition and a scene before we get too far down the line on a big canvas. So I am doing this Arizona monsoon scene, and it has the idea of sketches and then going into doing a study. And this is part one. And part two will cover the larger painting. So this video is just to show you my process, the order that I approach things in. Sometimes I might change it up a little bit different, but in this specific one, I just went in a certain order and got the study done, and we'll move on to the larger piece. All right, let's check out this video. You know that I am a firm believer in working out sketches and ideas for where you're going to go. So for this commission piece, I did work out a few sketches. I had met with the clients and designed a foreground of what they had requested. So whether you're doing this for a gallery or an exhibit, just set yourself up for success. I had plenty of reference material to work from, and then I did a study that was the same proportion of what the large piece would be. I had my reference images that I had edited, made changes in, and started on a small study that really does help me with my palette. It does help with composition as well. As I worked my way through this, I do prefer to start with dark foreground elements before I go to my sky. Now, maybe not every single time, but I do find it helpful if I get some weight to my foreground and get a feeling of where I'm going. And as I start building my clouds, I like a lot of color up there, and I keep it fairly dark. If you've studied with me, you know that I start dark. That way it gives me a foundation to build some of the very beautiful fat lights. I begin wiping away and sculpting my drawing is what I like to call this. You really do get a feeling of where you're going in kind of a less is more technique, meaning I don't have a lot of thick paint up there yet. That will come. Just throwing a little paint down into the horizon. I want to start getting a mood going and softening the bottom edge of that cloud. Yeah, I want the feeling of rain, and I am working on it early. There's no rule of where to start. Do what seems right and what feels good and enjoyable. And that fat, thick paint, it qualifies as a lot of fun, and it starts building volume into your cloud. And I love luscious oil paint. Well, let's just follow along and watch as I build pieces of this cloud. that blue sky got added in there. And you can see how the cloud looks really cut out. And this is when I come in and start developing all that beautiful edge work. There's a lot of softening that goes on with these edges of these clouds, but really doing it all wet into wet paint is so perfect. It just suits my personality and how I like to paint, and I'm able to really soften. And that's a rosemary fan brush, and I really soften, and I keep softening. We want that beautiful airy feeling to our clouds. Just continuing to redesign, maybe darken parts of the blue sky. It's a back and forth, a push and pull until it suits me. Now I jump back down and I start building more into the foreground. This is the fun part when you start seeing the big picture coming together. Building all those small juniper, pinyon trees. This is on the way to northern Arizona. The hills out along the highway there. And it just took a lot of building. And hey, I'm not afraid to jump back up and rework the sky. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have to add more or get rid of a shape that isn't working. And that's what you see me doing here. That's why it's kind of nice to have the big piles of paint if you do need to go back. Just redesigning. I'm sharing some of this so that you know my clouds just aren't done all in one setting. It's a back and forth of a redesigning, and then again back down into the foreground. Those small final touches. And I love the magic of that frosting. This is what you can get with oil paint. And when this is finished, I will move on and do the larger version of this. But I'm quite happy with this small version and what a pathway it gives me to work bigger. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, stay at the easel, keep building those clouds.